righty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the OG Social Network podcast. It is so beautiful to have been able to survive this last blizzard that we have and the current snow day that we had. It just came down and left. It's Papa Duke's OG Social Network podcast. Today is February 25th, Wednesday. Beautiful evening, nice cool breeze. We have snow on the ground, and definitely in a couple weeks, it's going to look awful. I definitely want to give a shout out to Mayor's Arm Namdani for getting. I found out he was put together a program to get people out there to shovel snow for $30 an hour, and they did it. They did a great job throughout the 5 boroughs. Thank you so much for that. Our mayor has really been kicking butt. I'll be doing a special expose on him in the next couple of months, but got to get more information. Make sure we know what we're talking about. Today, we'll be talking with our guest, Reverend Kelly Green from the KGLTV up in Canada, Ontario, Canada. She is probably one of the bigger activists, I would say, in Canada and internationally. Also, I'll be talking about the lovely speech, the State of the Union, which was so long and nothing said and just nothing was done. But we are going to get started with Miss Green, Reverend Green, excuse me, and discuss what she's about. I will tell you this: to meet beautiful people like this is amazing. And Reverend Kelly Green is deeply experienced an energy healer who has been practicing Reiki for more than a decade. With a calm and nurturing presence, she creates a safe space for clients to release stress, restore balance, and reconnect with their inner selves. Her Reiki practice is rooted in the belief that the body, mind, and spirit are interconnected, and that true healing comes when all three are supported. Through gentle hands-on energy work, Reverend Kelly channels universal life force energy to encourage relaxation, reduce tension, and support the body's natural healing processes. Clients often describe her sessions as transformative, bringing clarity, peace, and renewed sense of well-being. Her intuitive guidance and compassionate nature allow her to meet each person exactly where they are, tailoring every session to individual needs. In addition to Reiki, Reverend Kelly offers tarot readings and spiritual guidance, helping people explore the deeper questions of life with insight and care. She is also a certified cannabis educator and spiritual healer, blending modern knowledge with ancient practices to support holistic well-being. Her work has always been dedicated to creating spaces where people feel safe, seen, and supported, whether through one-on-one sessions, group experiences, or collaborations with spas, wellness centers, and retreats. For those seeking balance, energy renewal, or a deeper connection to themselves, Reverend Kelly's Reiki practices offer a pathway to healing and harmony. KGLTV is a Canada-based live streaming network with growing international presence. Founded on cannabis-fueled creativity and community, the network now includes hosts from across the U.S. and guests and viewers tuning in from around the world. Her show is rooted in education, inclusion, and enjoyment, offering international relaxed vibes that invite everyone in. Whether you're a seasoned stoner or simply curious, there's something here for you. How are you doing? This is what I'm talking about. How are you doing, my love?
Hi, Papa Dukes. I'm so happy to be here on your show. I didn't know we were live, so I'm excited that we're live because there's always a better energy when we're live, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm so excited to be here. You're in New York, I'm in Canada, and I heard about your snowstorm, and I was praying for you down there because I heard that the whole city was shut down.
Yes, we were shut down just for about a day and a half. And as usual, we have to deal with, delays in our mass transportation. We have to deal with, a lot of nonsense. It's just been like, but we are New York. We do amazing things here. We survive. We thrive. I love my city. I'm in the Bronx.
And your mayor's a Jedi.
Oh, I
So,
love him. Yeah,
right?
he is.
He can take care of things like that.
Yeah, he's going to be the future, I think, of many politicians. We are going towards more of a democratic socialist society. We're getting kind of tired of what has we've been seeing over the last, just say, 3 or 4 decades, especially with everything documented.
Yeah.
But that being said, this is not about politics. This is about
Okay,
you.
because I don't know much about politics, Papa
Yeah,
Dukes.
yeah, you really don't. Yeah, I got you. I got you. My mom doesn't even want to talk about it. I tell you, it's ridiculous. But the
Yeah.
one question I do want to this is part of your origin story.
Yeah.
When was your aha moment? Was there a specific moment or person that made you realize cannabis was your calling?
Oh, goodness, yes, I think so. But first of all, my last name is not Green. You've been calling me
Oh,
Kelly Green, and
oh,
I'm not sure where that came from, but I can
okay.
explain it to you.
I'm
Let me
totally
tell
okay.
you why I think that might be. Kelly's Green Lounge was what
So
I
sorry.
first started with. Was I opened a cannabis lounge in Canada 1 year after we legalized here. So we legalized in 2018, and I opened my cannabis lounge in 2019, and it was Kelly's Green Lounge. So I
Okay,
was Kelly's Green Lounge for a little while, and then I changed it to the KGL Network and KGLTV because I had to pivot because we were right in the middle of a pandemic and we couldn't have anybody come to a cannabis lounge anymore for
right.
cannabis and comedy or cannabis yoga talk or any of the things that we were doing. They said, no, no, no.
Hmm.
And so I had to make it into a network that would hold the different brands. So it became the KGL Network and then, of course, KGL TV. Now, I'll answer your question now. So because I
Oh yeah.
talked so much,
Well,
I
let me.
backtrack a little bit.
No, no,
I,
you
I
didn't.
keep
That's
track
perfect.
though.
But
So,
go
my
ahead.
aha moment, I was not always a cannabis activist or advocate. I came from teaching. I was a preschool teacher and a
Oh wow.
supervisor of childcare centers. But we were legalizing in Canada. I was also like, I was doing like a little bit of research on the side and I was getting products. And I was always that hippie that would show up to parties with like popcorn, like infused
Hmm.
popcorn or brownies or anything. So people knew me that way. So
Hmm.
people were asking questions of me. Kelly, we hear that it's going to be legal. What is cannabis? I don't understand. And so I thought, okay, I better look into this. Prior to this, I was in the music industry for a decade and a half, working in radio, whatever, and always around it in the sense of like it's there, it's fun. We talk, right? We drink, we talk, we have fun, right? But I didn't know it was medicine. I heard that it
Hmm.
was medicine. I heard that people were using it for medicine, and I thought, oh, they're just getting those medical prescriptions just so that they can get the good weed, right? Because at
Right.
that point in time, you either got brick weed or BC bud, and you were really lucky if you got BC bud. But if you had the prescription, you could get actually real professionally grown weed. So the whole thing was like, oh yeah, you have a medical prescription so that you can get good weed. We didn't know. But then when people are asking questions, I thought, I better figure this out. I better get the answers because I'm somebody that does not like to have no answers when people are asking me questions. So I started researching it and I started to realize we have a what? An endocannabinoid system. It exists in us and we actually need the cannabis. And it was actually just taken away from us because of racism and greed and control by
Hmm.
the white man in the United States in the 1930s. F you, Harry Anslinger, right? And all
Hmm.
this was coming to me and I was just like, wow, that was my aha moment, Papa Dukes. Okay, if
Okay.
that is actually the truth, I'm going to go back to school. I quit my job in teaching. I sold my house and cashed in my retirement plan. I threw everything into my cannabis lounge, into my network, and started going back to school for cannabis and became a cannabis activist and advocate because, you know, F you, Harry Anslinger. You're not going to do that to us
Yeah.
and take our plant from us. So
Right.
let's keep
Right. Right.
going. I'll become a minister of cannabis and spread the message everywhere. And the message and the mission is global freedom of the plant.
Well, I first want to apologize for thinking your last name was Green, but it
No,
is
I
Reverend
just
Kelly.
tease you.
Kelly's
No.
Green, Lounge, and also you have a church. So how do you bridge the gap for people who feel that cannabis and spirituality are at odds?
Oh, that they don't mix. Well,
Right.
the whole history in the research and the history of the world, cannabis has been a sacrament in multiple religions without dogma, if we go back to shamanism. But
Hmm.
every single religion that we have here, whether it's Hinduism, Judaism, whether it's Arabic, whether it's Christianity, all of them, if you research it back enough, cannabis falls into that. It's a sacrament. It's here. God put cannabis on the earth for us to be able to consume it so that we could connect to whatever it is we believe it. And it doesn't necessarily have to have dogma. It doesn't necessarily have to be attributed to a religion with dogma. It could just be
Hmm.
spirituality. It could be whatever you pray to, but it is here so that we can connect inside of ourselves so that we're able to do that. And so the people that are saying to whoever it is, don't mix the two, those are the ones that are stuck believing that book, that Christian book that said, there was a man that came here down from the
Excuse me.
sky, and he was here he's God's son, and we have to follow him, and there was another guy that was on an ark and a boat came. These are stories, right? They're not
Hmm.
real. It's the same
Hmm.
way as like we're going to pin tail people into believing different things. It's the same thing. You're going to believe that this plant is not here for us. It's here for medicine. It's here to eat. It's here for fabrics. It's here for spirituality. Yes, it's here for so many good things. And then you have people that are saying, no, well, those are the ones that are praying the wrong way.
Right, right. And so, as a divine teacher of cannabis, for someone who has only ever used it recreationally, how can they start to shift their mindset to view the plant as a spiritual guide for their own healing?
Yeah, that's that conscious piece. It's intentional use of cannabis. When you slow down and you actually start to recognize what you're consuming for, that's when you can connect out. And I'll explain that for a minute. Maybe you're consuming it for that recreational piece. Maybe you want your dinner to taste better. Maybe you want to laugh at a movie. Maybe whatever. You want to have a good time with friends and you don't drink. You're using that otherwise. That's great. That's recreational. But when you
Hmm.
slow that down for a minute and you say, I have a headache, I'm not going to go for an aspirin or a Tylenol right now. I'm going to intentionally use cannabis for therapy, for wellness or healing or pain relief, right? And so if
Hmm.
you're thinking of that and you're thinking of that consumption, that's when it slows down, right? And
Hmm.
all cannabis is medicine, all cannabis is spiritual, even if you're just using it for those big bong rips or those dabs or whatever. Use it. Use the dabs. Have the bongs, whatever.
Oh,
But at the
yeah.
same time, recognize that you are receiving the wellness properties of the plant, and that when you use it, you can have it for mind, you can have it for body, and yes, you can have it for spirit.
Well, I want to tell you, I know I was doing dabs last year, and that
Love
was
dabs.
enough. That was the ooh. You see, because I smoke, I've been smoking
You don't
since
want
I
them?
was. Oh, I love all forms of smoking except for vaping. I think I'm very concerned about the science and the health risk behind
Okay.
it.
Okay.
But again, I don't want to take anything away from people that are doing it right, processing
Right.
it.
Right.
So we still need more um, data. Now, but for me, it's always been, it started off with joints,
Yep.
then blunts,
Okay.
and then, of course, I do have my pipe, my glass pipe, and I love my water bong.
Very good.
It's, but that dabbing, oh, I'm looking to, that's to me like one step below taking 2/8 a quarter of mushrooms. I, I,
It is
no,
extreme. It is extreme. It is.
I
And
go,
it's for people that want that high dose of medicine on some
right,
aspects. And then on
right.
the other aspects, that, equivalent of like a big night of drinking or something like that. We want
Right.
people to get away from alcohol, stay away from the alcohol, use something that would be the equivalent of that. So maybe that is
Hmm.
a higher dose of mushrooms. Maybe that
Oh,
is a higher
definitely.
dab of cannabis, right?
And it's healthier too.
Sure.
They are already here, from what I've been reading, is they want to have bars start selling cannabis drinks.
That's what I love to
And,
hear.
I don't
That's what
know
I
if,
love to hear.
I don't know if that would be good though, mixing
Well, you cannot mix
alcohol.
it. No, 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 no. You
Right.
can't mix it. And that's what we're proposing here in Canada. As you know, I work at the Canadian Cannabis Tourism Alliance. We're a
Hmm.
federal not-for-profit that is lobbying for cannabis tourism here in Canada. And so
Hmm.
we've invited you to our event on 420, and that is
Hmm.
where we talk about things like cannabis beverages and
Hmm.
things like, pushing that envelope forward. Because when Canada legalized, we did not get a framework for cannabis tourism. So you can
Hmm.
have alcohol anywhere. You have to have your cannabis drinks in a specialized store. In an alcohol store, you can bring your baby on your hip. In a cannabis store, you have to have the covers on the windows. So here they
Right.
did it wrong, right? Like, scary, scary, scary. But that
Right.
is the conversation that we need to be having, because cannabis beverages are far better for you than alcohol. You
Oh,
should not be
yes.
mixing. People, we need to go to restaurants. We want to have infused dining. We want to have our mocktail. This is the future. People are traveling for wellness. People are looking for ability to be well. I mean, the youth right now, they do not want alcohol. They do not want to have to look bad on their TikToks or their
Mhm.
chats or face chats or whatever it is they're doing. The under 25, they're not using alcohol the way that the people that are over age are because they're used to it. They're saying they
Mhm.
want something for wellness. Juice bars are doing well. Coffee parties with DJs are selling out. People around the blocks. This is the future. Cannabis beverages are the future. And when we have a framework for that, whether it's in New York, in the US, or whether it's in Canada, that's where we're going to see change.
Oh, well, I'm loving it. So I want to get back to the spiritual guide, right? Because I have a couple more
Okay,
questions on that.
let's talk
Okay.
about that.
So as a Reiki master, is my saying this right? Reiki or Reiki?
Reiki. Let's say it like
Reiki.
Reiki. Reiki.
Okay.
It's Japanese.
Reiki. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay.
As a Reiki master, how do you see the energy of cannabis plant interacting with the human biofield? Do you
Yeah, it's
find
right there. Yeah,
do you find that it opens up specific chakras or
specifically.
energy centers or more
Yeah.
effectively during a healing
You
season?
got it. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. It does. It opens up the energy centers because think about this. Our endocannabinoid system is a series of receptors all throughout our body, from the top of our head right down to our toes. And it is receptors full of energy. And that's
Right.
what it is. So if it's all over our body, of course, we're going to be able to connect with that with energy because energy is life force energy, right? Or Reiki is energy, life force energy. That is what Reiki is. So when I
Hmm.
put my hands on myself, or I put my hands on someone else, I'm able to feel their energy. I feel where their energy is stuck. I feel where their traumas are. But when cannabis is used in that method, right, hand in hand with that, cannabis allows for the release of the fascia. The fascia is the connective tissue all over our body, just like our endocannabinoid system is all over our body. And the receptors of the endocannabinoid system are in the fascia. Now, fascia holds trauma. It stores our emotions. It stores our trauma. So when I'm doing Reiki, I'm actually able to move that out of the fascia. You can do it with somatic yoga as well. But there's so many healing modalities that work together. It's not just one. It's not just Reiki. It's not just cannabis. It's not just mushrooms. It's all working in twine because we want to achieve homeostasis, which is the body's natural balance, the ultimate balance, right? That allows us to prolong our life. If we want to live to 150 years old, then we have to be in homeostasis for most of our life, that balance. And we can
Right.
achieve that with energy healing, balance, and a mix of cannabis.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a small commercial break.
Let's do that.
Okay. And I'll be right back. All right, everyone. So don't leave me. I'll be right here.
For too long, cannabis branding relied on outdated stereotypes. We're here to change that. Jadestone is a woman-owned, strategy-first creative agency, building brands that stand out, resonate, and perform. With white glove service and meticulous attention to detail, we transform ideas into bold identities and memorable experiences. From brand strategy and visual identity to packaging and dispensary design, every touchpoint is intentional, refined, and crafted to make your brand unforgettable. Let's create something extraordinary together.
Jade
All right.
Stone looking
Yeah,
good.
I love those
Yeah.
guys.
Woo.
They are a beautiful couple, an amazing group of people. They have been great supporters for the last year. I met them last year. It's Katie and Earl Matadali.
Hi,
Uh,
Katie and Earl.
give them some big love. So yes, we are back. I'm speaking with Reverend Kelly of the KGLTV or network. She is located in Ontario, Canada,
Yep.
and she's kind of convinced me. I was going to go to Canabis, but because it's the same time. But I have a feeling I haven't not been out internationally ever, except to
Mm.
Puerto Rico. So let me take baby steps.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. I'll take that invitation to come up there and definitely
Okay,
cover
good.
this
Come to
with you.
Canada.
Yeah, I think I would. I might stay
Yep.
seek
Forever.
asylum. I might seek asylum.
I don't blame
That's-
you. I tell this to my American friends all the time. I'm gonna open up a refugee home for American cannabis people.
Let
I
me
don't
tell
want
you.
them to leave.
I do want to say this too to our international brothers and sisters. What we call our cousins.
Yeah.
We're not about this. We aren't. We are totally flabbergasted that our history is coming back to bite us,
I know.
and that um, the the people that are willing to cut their nose to spite their face to keep from others benefiting in life, it's backfiring. The youth are definitely gonna, I think, gonna take reins. The new politicians, you know. But other than that, let's get back to one more question regarding spiritual guide.
Okay.
Because I have so many, but I want to make sure
Okay.
we stay on point.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. So we're talking about healing trauma and CP,
Mhm.
CPTSD.
Yeah,
You've been open
sure.
about using cannabis to manage complex PTSD.
Yeah.
How does the spiritual aspect of the plant help reach the layers of trauma that traditional medicine sometimes misses?
Ooh, I love this question. Have you ever overconsumed or greened out? Has
Yes.
that ever happened to you? Okay, and
Yes.
maybe perhaps because for some people, they have called 911 because they thought they were going to die because the panic is so much and so intense. I don't know if that has happened to you, but it
Dabbing.
happens to dab
It was
exactly,
the
and that
dabbing.
green out, right, right. And I've heard that a lot of times too. Your
Hmm.
nervous system kicks in, you become panicking, sometimes cold, sometimes shaking. So this is when the plant is really, really in that nervous system. And it is my
Hmm.
belief that that is the time when you can really heal the most. If you can ride that wave, and I'm going to tell you how to do it in just 1 second. If you can ride that wave of actually greening out or over consuming, that's when you get in there. That's when you can feel the guilt. You can hear the messages. You can, and I'm not talking about like voices in my head messages. I'm talking about your own messages. I feel this way. I'm living like this. I don't recognize this. Most of the time we put it on a facade. Most of the time we pretend and we give a show and we don't really get past those layers and dig deep. I mean, if you're over 40, you've had a traumatized youth most of the time because we were not parented properly. We had parents that were not parented properly. Now things are getting a lot better for the children of today, the youth of today. Things are a lot better. But sometimes we didn't have two parents. Sometimes we had militant parents, sometimes abusive. And so we carry that trauma with us, adulthood, and we just push it away. I'm going to push it away. I'm going to push it away. And so we can't push it away anymore because that's when it comes out in illnesses. It comes in autoimmune diseases, our
Hmm.
vagus nerve, VAGAS, that's our head connected to right into our belly, right down there,
Hmm.
right? It's a nerve, right? It's a signal. And when our belly is sick from trauma, like worrying acid, right? It goes right up to our brain and it makes us sick. And when our brain is sick from worrying, it goes into our belly and it makes us sick. So we have to stop that. We have to fix that. We have to reparent. We have to heal what's inside of us. And the best way to do that, mushrooms is great, absolutely. And everybody that's watching is like, I do it with mushrooms. But cannabis, if you can get into that space, if you can go there deep, 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 you will find the answers that you're looking for. So, what you want to do, I promised I would come back to this. What you want to do is you want to be warm, right? You want to make sure you're warm because your body temperature will drop and you will feel cold. You have a nice warm pair of socks. You have some slippers. You have a blanket around you, and you want something on your television or nearby that's going to be really funny and comforting. And just
Hmm.
in case, but you want to make sure that you're going there and you cry and you might throw up and you might shake and you might feel sick. But once you ride that out, it might take 2 or 3 times to go into the space. But once you can ride that out and get there, I promise you that's when the healing starts because your body is checking into that nervous system. It's going into the fight or flight, and that's where the trauma comes out. If you've ever heard of breath work causes fight or flight. It causes that panic reaction. And when you
Hmm.
panic and when you go into that space in your head, you're not avoiding it, you're actually healing yourself. You're
Hmm.
recognizing it and you're able to connect to whatever it is that you're praying to or whatever it is that makes you feel safe. And you're able to go past those layers. And I promise you'll come out better on the other side.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I do know when I came down, I felt great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and also, I only dab with one person, and that's my sponsor, Sohan Bashar from Silk Road. So I know I'm guaranteed great dabbing. It's a great dabbing experience, and I definitely make sure I do it when I have a ride home because he's far away.
Yeah.
He's-
Good plan.
but he's a beautiful guy. All right, so we're going to talk about practice and community, the KGL experience. and the power of ceremony. In our fast-paced world, many people use cannabis on the go. What is one simple micro ceremony or ritual a listener could incorporate today to bring more intention and healing energy to their consumption?
Yeah, the simplest way to do it is journaling and meditation. And so, even if you're just doing it for 5 minutes, meditation doesn't need to be an app or a YouTube video or sounds of birds or anything like that. Meditation can be as simple as sitting by yourself quietly, turning off
Hmm.
the screens, making sure you have a quiet space, and just sitting there for 5 minutes. You're not supposed to zone out, you're not supposed to see God. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hear the thoughts in your head because they're compartmentalizing. You're processing. We live in this fast-paced world where we're in one screen to the next all the time. We never stop. I spend so much of the time that I can in
Hmm.
child's pose. That means that I'm on my yoga mat, flat on my face, seriously, with my arms spread out, because it's just that moment to just be there and to just drop down and hear the messages that need to come. That's processing. So when you do that, intentionally use cannabis first. Say, I'm going to sit there for 5 minutes. I'm going to smoke my doobie. I'm going to do my dab. I'm going to do whatever, eat my edible, drink my drink. I'm going to feel the effects of the cannabis, whether it is THC, CBD, whatever it is. You're connecting and you're communing with cannabis. And then you're just going to make sure that you're processing it. And then have a little piece of paper there. Write down just 1 or 2 sentences. That is the easiest way that you can do this ritual and this communion. At the very end of it, thank the cannabis for whatever messages it gave you, because it's really important that we remember reciprocity. I take, but I give back. I take the
Hmm.
messages. I hear what you're saying. Thank you, cannabis. I'm giving back by saying, I am grateful for those messages. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Because I have to get back into my yoga again. I was doing hot room yoga for a while,
Ooh.
and it was very good. So I definitely will be incorporating that in my morning routine because I wake up with so much noise in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And with what's been going on, the research, I'm still doing work from last night in my head. So I need to stop that and give
Shut it
myself
all down.
boundaries to just shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
The KGL vibe, if someone walks into Kelly Green's Lounge TV for the first time,
Yeah.
what's one thing they'll experience that they can't find anywhere else?
Love, 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 love. I believe in
Uh,
so much love. Honestly, I am a Care Bear shooting love out of my heart. For real. I feel like that because there's not enough Care Bears and there's not enough love. I believe
right.
in ahimsa, which is a Hindu word for no harm. And I also believe in Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna,
Mhm.
and these are Krishna beads.
Yeah.
And that is just love. It is just love. It is leading with love. When you have a choice to go dark, you always choose love. That is the answer for everything. Love is the answer. And I know it's so easy to say, right? But hard to practice. I used to think that too. I've had a very, very challenging, very, like you brought it up, complex PTSD. I have many disorders because of, trauma situations in my life. And I
Hmm.
could choose darkness. We have a choice to feed whichever, the good wolf, the bad wolf. You've heard that analogy before. I always
Hmm.
choose to feed the good wolf with love. That is the best way to be. So when you come to the KGL network, you're getting loved.
Oh, I love that. That's the same here at the OG at the podcast, OG Network podcast.
Yeah.
In New York, I'm developing a network of people that are not just sponsors, but we support each other, different ancillary businesses that could be affordable for small businesses to be able to grow. And so, yeah, that's good to know because we need some love down here. This is ridiculous. Okay. How has the lounge helped people deal with isolation or mental struggles in their community?
Yeah. Well, so Kelly's Green Lounge closed, I guess around 4 years ago. It closed.
Right.
Because
Well,
I
what
was,
I mean, I don't
oh,
mean the lounge itself. I mean,
oh,
like your
okay.
whole network. I'm not,
Yeah.
your network, your whole
Yeah. The
universe right
network.
now, right?
How did we do what?
How when people are with you,
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
and socializing with you or working with you,
Mhm.
how has it helped them deal with isolation or mental illness struggles in their community or in your community?
Sure, sure.
Do you know
I
what?
think knowing we are one. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that I think we're able to say that. And I think that bridging that gap between people that are isolated and do feel alone, and just saying like, you are here with us, you are loved by us, you are accepted. Been told many times, I'm like, if you've ever seen that old Rudolph movie where there's the island of misfit toys, and that's
Yeah,
just how I feel. Like, I want give come to me. If you're a misfit, I will love you. And so
right.
I feel like that is that we, I will take anybody and show them what it feels like to be loved by myself, but also by the cannabis plant. By there it was the first documented medical evidence ever of cannabis was in China, and it was
Mm-hmm.
to bring in the yin, meaning to bring in the estrogen, to bring in the mother. They call it ma, mother over there.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Chinese word for it. We know that this brings in the mother. It causes us to love and causes us to be mothering. So come, cannabis.
Oh
It will
man,
mother you.
I'm so looking. Yeah, I love it. I love it. With what's it? It's we're going to talk about now industry, tourism, and policy. Okay, and you say you all legalized in 2018, correct?
Mhm. Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
what was it like before that? Before
Yeah.
legalization?
In the couple of years leading up to now, I'm only in Ontario.
Hmm.
I can tell you that history in Canada, medically, for a decade, there were champions, advocates, freedom fighters, some of them that lost their lives fighting for cannabis to be legal here. And we have to make sure that we are paying homage to them. But in Ontario, I can tell you a little bit. But if we go back to cannabis in Canada, British Columbia is the history where it comes right there. And like I said before, in Ontario here, you either had brick dirt weed that we don't even know what country it came from, or you had BC bud, and that
BC
was the
Bud.
good stuff. You had that,
Woo!
right?
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
the best stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so when we so before legalization, it was, it was illegal. I would go to concerts with joints in my bra, because well, everybody would get pat down. Your purses would, like, everything. You could not have cannabis anywhere. And like I said, I was in the music industry, so I'd be on stages or whatever I would be done. Some of them, of course, if you're a rock star or whoever, they say okay for backstage. But if you're just a radio announcer, they don't do that. They pat you down.
Right.
So it was
Right.
like, you were afraid to get in trouble. You were afraid that you were going to get arrested. So that's what it was. But for maybe 2 or 3 years up before cannabis legalization here in 2018, there were shops that were popping up all over
Hmm.
Ontario that were, I guess, like the first dispensaries here, the first retail shops here. They were completely
Hmm.
illegal. They would sometimes get shut down after a little while, but if you were lucky to catch one, then you could get really cool products. I've tried shatter for the first time and just almost
Yeah.
became unconscious. Like, it was, like way back
Yeah.
then. But you had to kind of know somebody who knew somebody to be able to get to one of those stores. But at the same time as legalization that was happening, we had a beautiful sovereign cannabis industry, an indigenous cannabis industry that was popping up on reservations here. And that was really showing us what kind of variety you could get, not just with flower or pre-rolls, but with edibles specifically, because our legal market, the highest milligram dose you can get for an edible here is 10 milligrams, or a drink 10 milligrams. But you go to sovereign cannabis, beautiful sovereign cannabis stores, and you get like 100 milligrams, 1000 milligrams. So at the same time, that was happening. And I'm so pleased to say that our sovereign cannabis industry is still very strong. It's not government controlled, it's band council controlled. All of the money goes back to the shops and to the producers. And so it's a little bit different, and they're thriving here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, it's so weird. You said something earlier. It's human nature. We doing the same thing here.
Mhm.
The way we gradually became legal. It's the same nonsense. Not nonsense. It's
Yeah.
the same. Like, well, let's take these baby steps first, and we see
Yeah.
that this group of people are doing well. Then from there they take it up. And but the one thing that we want to definitely see in New York is getting consumption lounges legal. What's the secret in Canada for making them a safe and successful, especially making them getting them approved legally in through the politicians? You know what I mean? Through legislation.
I would like to know what that secret recipe would be because we don't have any here. Not
Ooh,
one. When I had my cannabis lounge, what you had to do is you had to go outside to consume the cannabis and then come back inside to participate in the cannabis events. Ridiculous. Unless it was
right,
yoga toke. And then we just
right.
shut the doors and everybody there, signed a liability waiver or whatever. But basically, you can't have a consumption lounge here. Not like you can in Denver, not like you can in California, not like you can in
Mhm.
Las Vegas. Like you guys have that. Even though you're not federally legal, you are far more advanced than we are. Now, when we're writing the framework, which we have, our cannabis, the CCTA, we rewrote the Cannabis Act. A couple of people that are involved with our committees rewrote the Cannabis Act and submitted it to the government with the changes because we want, if you can have a beer tent here, you can have a beer tent at a festival, you cannot have a cannabis tent, you cannot have a cannabis
Mhm.
lounge, you cannot have a cannabis permit for a wedding, you cannot have cannabis on your golf cart when you're driving around. You just can't. You can have spas. And so we have asked for the changes. Now, when that happens, we still do have the Smoke Free Ontario Act, and every other province has something similar to that. So the idea of smoking inside is very few and far between. We
Mhm.
might get a special ventilization system, maybe, and then you're stuck following those guidelines, which are really, really stringent and draconian. But most likely it will be patios. But what would be really wonderful when it comes to cannabis consumption is if we could just have our beverages, if you could have mocktails, if you could have fine dining restaurants where you're having a 5-course meal and three of the 5 courses are infused with cannabis, maybe not THC, maybe CBD, maybe terpenes, whatever, right? Depending on
Right.
how it was served or cooked. So I just I'm pioneering a show here called So You Think You Can Cook with Cannabis. It was in Vancouver. It's coming
Mm.
to Ontario in June. And the competitors show up and then they're judged live by 3 judges. And I'm seeing that the things that these chefs are creating, it's remarkable. It's
Oh,
extraordinary. And so if
yeah.
we can get the framework for that, right? These chefs that know how to already cook with bitters and sweets to elevate you already. Now they're
Right.
elevating with cannabis. Bring it
Oh,
on,
I've
right?
got I've got so many chefs here in New York that want to have that
Okay, I'm
experience.
coming to New
Owner,
York next. I'll bring it
yeah,
home.
yeah, definitely. You'd be my guest. They want to own a space to be able to experience
Exactly.
the not just they just want to have fun with it,
Yeah.
and I have
Yeah.
had some great experiences. One of them was with Amuse Kush, upstate. Oh, and she's going to kill me. And down here in Brooklyn, I'll give her a shout out. They're amazing. Oh, the Supper Club, something Supper Club. Oh my God, she's going to kill me. But I had some amazing experience here, and consumption lounges are definitely going to be the new wave. I hope
Yeah.
in the next couple of years. We're going to talk about tourism obstacles. What's the after this commercial? All right. So everyone, I want to thank you all so much for being on for a second. We're going to go and take a break, and I will be right back. Oh, we'll be right back. Excuse me. At Proteus 420, they provide high quality services and educational resources to support your growth and help you thrive in the cannabis community. Efficient inventory management ensures you maintain a reliable product supply and avoid stock shortages. Their point of sale service tracks sales activity, helping you identify best sellers, top employees, and valuable customers. Stay compliant with built-in reporting, alerting you to the latest state and local regulations. With payment processing, accept payments seamlessly across various methods, including cash and debit. Their customer relation management system builds loyalty, ensuring tailored offerings for repeat business. Proteus 420, empowering your cannabis business for success. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Reverend Kelly of the KGLTV network. She's over here in Ontario, Canada, an amazing human being. One I could talk to. This would be like 2 hours, so she's definitely coming back on the show. We've been discussing about uh, um, her origins, spiritual healing, a guide to it, which is like, that's a show in itself. And community practices. But now we're talking about tourism and policy, industry and policy. Um, and when you meet people like this young lady here, you definitely want to have them in your circle. The information we received today has just been phenomenal. And I'm just going to continue on with the next question regarding industry, tourism, and policy. We've already talked about consumption lounges, which we definitely want to have in the near future, and would be a great holistic space for many people to have a safe space and sit back and heal and grow. What's the biggest rookie mistake you see cities making when they try to launch cannabis tourism?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not seeing cities try to launch cannabis tourism. That's the problem, is that
Hmm.
like we've been doing this for 5 years. And we actually are coming up on our AGM. I think it's our sixth AGM this November. Like we've been pounding this for half a decade at least here. And we've got one city, Niagara Falls, Ontario, that is
Hmm.
saying yes to us. I mean, we like the event that we're speaking about, the mayor is
Hmm.
going to come and speak with us then. And we have a individual from the tourism board that's going to come. So they're championing it. But other cities, they won't even hear us really. I mean, they will. I mean, they're oh, we see that, you big stoners, essentially. And now I'm only saying that because it's still so
No,
stigmatized.
it's stigmatized. It's there's a stigmatism. There's the old guard still holding on, not
Yeah.
really realizing it's time for change. But go ahead,
Yep.
please go ahead.
No, well, I will tell you a little story. Every year, we are welcome to Ottawa, our nation's capital, to sit with the heads of all of the tourism boards and the head of Air Canada and the head of hotels and all the big important people with the tourism industry in Canada. And it's put on by Destinations Canada, which is actually the tourism, whoever runs tourism in our country, other than the Minister of Tourism. And so we're
Mhm.
invited there every year. And I always show up, like with my little dresses and my beads. And I actually, our vice president of the CCTA, he looks and acts like a politician. We call him a can Avenger. He's this big, strong guy named Jeremy Smith. But all of the politicians like him because he speaks their language. He really understands them. He knows what to say. He knows how to push the issue. And he really is a superhero. But last year, I was there by myself. Jeremy couldn't make it. He's also a cannabis medical patient, and sometimes he's ill. Cannabis is saving his life every day, thank goodness.
God
But this
bless.
one, I ended up there by myself. And I was welcomed at a table, but after a little while, I wasn't welcomed so much because the people that were there were still like, cannabis people are lazy and, kind of like, did I smell or whatever? And I gave my business card to one of the men, and he was just like, this is the weirdest card I've ever seen. And I was like, I know I'm a minister of cannabis. I can, I'm not going to hide that. But he was like that. And then they were speaking about what their children will do post secondary. And I said, oh, I hope my son goes into cannabis. And everyone was like, what do you mean? Just like that.
Yeah,
And
well,
I just
it's
like out there, like, I hope he does. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I want my kid to have money. I want my kid to have a future, right?
hell
And
yeah,
so
big.
but they still do not understand that. So we just keep going
Mhm.
and showing up every year and just knocking down the doors and saying, hey, we're here to stay.
That's beautiful because that's one of the other questions I want to ask you is about social equity.
Oh, please.
So how does
It's doing a lot
Canada
better than we are here, that's for sure.
say that again?
New York is doing it a lot better than we are here. You have a
Oh,
lot more
that's so
social
good.
equity programs for dispensary owners, and the lotteries that came out, and the dispensary owners there were part of a social equity program. And I was so excited to hear that. I wish we had had that here. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of leaders down there, especially yourself, Fame Neal, who we recently had on a podcast. She's doing a
Mhm.
lot for the social equity in the area. And so voices like yours and hers, more will come out. But yeah, there's not enough here, that is for sure. And there's still
I-
people in jail for this, mostly in your country. But that is a piece that we need to recognize as well.
Yeah, there are so many advocates and activists I could not name. I know Sheeta Dawson, Bronx Defenders. I definitely Fame Neal, who's she's from Philly, came to New York. It does amazing work with some
Yeah.
organizations. I believe it's Exhale New York.
Yes. Destination elevation is
Destination Elevated. Destination.
Yes.
I'll give them a shout out. They're amazing young ladies, and what they want to do is help in developing a retreat. Right. So yeah, they're I bless them. I hope they make that.
People of color to feel safe. That's her exact words. More people of color. We need more safe spaces like that, especially in the cannabis industry, which was built on the back of people of color.
Definitely, all the time, and I think that our histories are converging, not only in politics but also in cannabis. What would you give advice to entrepreneurs? What's the most important piece of advice you have for a woman looking to enter the cannabis industry? Anyone, really, anyone, to enter the cannabis industry, the cannabis tourism space today?
To research cannabis, to understand the interaction with cannabis in our bodies, why we use cannabis, that is so important. If you don't understand that and the history of why it was prohibited, why it was taken and stolen from us, and all of those pieces leading up to this, then you just start thinking of colonization, capitalism, and selling the plant for a profit and for money, which is not why our plant is here. Our plant is here to heal us and to balance us and to make us well, not to be sold for dollars and cents. But if that is why you're here, then you will not succeed. You will fail. That is not why our plant wants it. So research, understand what the cannabis plant does and the history of it and why we are here. And then you will be more than successful because you will be able to understand that's the reciprocity of the plant. If you want to take from the plant, you must give to the plant. By giving to the plant, you must understand her.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. The one thing I do want to focus on is your event that's going to be kicking off. Sorry about the cutoff and all that. I was trying to figure out how to, but I'm on StreamYard. But it is the Canadian Cannabis Tourism Association Alliance. 420 Festival and Summit, which will be April 19th and 20th at the Old Stone Inn Boutique Hotel in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Please tell us about that event. What can people expect?
Thank you for asking about it. It is our third annual. We've done this 2 times prior to this. It is our mission, a mission of the Canadian Cannabis Tourism Alliance, to make 420 a national holiday in Canada. It is our mission. I don't mean in the sense of like you get the day off. I mean in the sense that if they're still celebrating leprechauns and shamrocks on March 17th and making parades for that, let's do that for cannabis here. Because that's for Ireland. What is going on? We have one of the biggest parades for Irish Day. What is it called? St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patrick's Day.
Right? If they can have that day, why cannot we have 420? So many people celebrate 420. We know what 420 is. There's lore, there's history, right? It is our medicine. So what we want to do is we want that day to be recognized in our country as a special day to celebrate. So the way that we're doing it is by celebrating every single 420, even if it falls on a Tuesday, which it does next year. This year it's on a Monday. So our model is to have house music DJs play at the same time as celebrating 420. And that's what we have done for the past couple of years. Last year, we were in a parking lot outside a dispensary with comedians and a DJ and beautiful people that came and celebrated. And this year, we have leveled up to take over an entire inn. And thank you, Old Stone Inn, for believing in us and for accepting cannabis tourism, because they really are. They're shutting down their entire inn. We're taking it over. And outside on the patio, there'll be DJs playing all afternoon into the evening in the there's little exhibits all throughout, and vendors and exhibitors, and there's our dear Educanation, which are the certified cannabis education body of Canada. They're a bunch of fun women that also they like to teach, but with fun. So they've got some games and some art projects. We've got Dope Creative that's coming in for that, and so it's a big festival on the 19th, and then on the 20th we're doing a summit, and that's what we've asked you to come and have a little fireside chat with me about what you're doing to pioneer in New York City. We've got the mayor coming in. We're calling it the Electric Lettuce Brunch because we have a band that is Electric Lettuce. That's their name. How cool is that name? Cannabis is another name. Electric Lettuce is another name for cannabis. And they're amazing. They're a Niagara band, and they're the CCTA house band, official house band. They played with us last year, and they played a couple of events with us. So they're coming to participate in our brunch and the summit, where we will have panels and speakers and fireside chats. So it's a complete cannabis tourism event. We are pioneering. We are hoping that we will have it recognized. Last year, we actually had another day recognized, World Cannabis Tourism Day. It went on record here in Ottawa and globally, nationally. World Tourism Day is September 27th. So we just said, well, why don't we make World Cannabis Tourism Day happen and coincide with that? And so we did that with the godfather of tourism in California, Brian Applegarth, and a global network. And so we've already made one day, World Cannabis Tourism Day. Why can't we do 420 as well? So that's our mission. That's what we're hoping to do. And we just want to spread awareness, have the falls lit up green, and have everybody support this. This is our plant. And so that's what we're trying to do.
No, you're not trying. You're doing it. I love it. You're doing it. So now that we're getting to the big picture in the future, where do you see the intersection of cannabis and travel in the next 5 years?
Yeah, wellness travel is one of the biggest projected future income prosperity, I guess the way they would say it. Whatever the people that talk about economics, they say that that's where the money is going, is wellness travel, and that's where cannabis fits into it. If you're traveling for wellness travel and you are specifically looking for someone that can give you cannabis therapy, you're traveling for wellness travel. And if you're looking for, we have cannabis conferences that we were talking about Spannabis earlier, right? People travel for that from all over the world. So cannabis travel is the next thing. In Las Vegas, they've got cannabis weddings. They've got Planet 13, which is a super big, I don't know how many stories, but it's open 24 hours and it's massive. It's got a mall inside and a theater and I don't know, I think there's a gym. Like there's so many things you can do. People are traveling from all over the world to experience cannabis. I officiate cannabis weddings. I travel around the world to be able to officiate cannabis weddings. That's the next thing, right? We need to be having that as an option for ceremonies. People travel to Jamaica to have that happen. People travel to Jamaica to experience cannabis with the Rastafarians. And so that is the way of the future. People want to understand that. They don't want to go to all-inclusive resorts anymore and get so drunk and so sick and then, throw up on the airplane. They want to travel for wellness. They want to travel for cannabis. And that's what we offer here in Canada. And that's what we're seeing people offering all over the world. You can go to Thailand for an entire resort. Thailand is doing it really well. You can have dining there.
Oh man, I heard.
Incredible. Amsterdam, all over the cafes. There's tours. Captain Hooters doing tours on a rickshaw with that. Like people are recognizing that this is the way of the future. In Argentina, Mariano Escobar, who has created the World Cannabis Traveler or World Cannabis Tourism Certificate course, he tells me that you can go there and experience consuming cannabis with penguins. In Argentina, because it's so close to Antarctica or with the South Pole, whatever it is down there. And so you can do that. How amazing would that be? You're smoking a doobie and there's a penguin. He is waddling right beside you, right? So this kind of stuff is popping up everywhere. I was so excited for it.
Well, I got to tell you, that would be a great way to put together a nice international tour. To be able to see something like that and smoke some weed.
Right?
You advocate, one last question, you do advocate for the global freedom of the plant. How does destigmatizing cannabis on a political level actually help the collective spiritual healing of our communities, especially those that have had most harm by prohibition?
Yeah. Cannabis freedom will eventually lead to world peace. This is my absolute belief. I believe that if we free the plant for medicine, for textiles, if we grow hemp everywhere, carbon neutral footprint is fixed in our atmosphere and all of those beautiful things. Our soil is remediated, is that the word? Healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that will cause us to have world peace. It is my belief. Look, I'm a mom. I just turned 18. And so my belief is that I am here to take care of him and parent him for the rest of my life. How dare I bring him here if I don't work every single day for world peace to make the world a better place for my baby? And so all the babies get to benefit and all the people get to benefit, because that's what we should be working for. We should be collectively working for our children and the future of children to have
Mm-hmm.
global access to the plant for that, so that we can have a better world, so that the planet Earth, Mama Earth, is sustained, so that we can have a better choice for medicine. So we're not taking 20 pills because you're taking polypharmacy, one pill to cover up this, one pill to cover up this. So we're not constantly eating sugars and smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol. Everything needs to change. And the answer to that is cannabis and hemp.
Mm-hmm. 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 Oh man, well, I got to tell you, this is definitely going to be a part two doing this. We have had a great conversation with you. I am currently right now just amazed that I was able to have this is a great interview. I'm sorry. This was a great interview. I appreciate definitely the time we've spent together. The I'm looking forward to coming up there and meeting you in person in April. And we definitely have to have a part two. I do wish to apologize to everyone if there's any lag or anything. It's not on my end. It's got to be StreamYard because everything else has been great. I do want to ask, how can people contact you or get in touch with you or reach out to you?
Sure. If you just Google Reverend Kelly Cannabis, you'll be able to find me. Or kglnetwork.org is the website, but you'll just Google Reverend Kelly Cannabis or put me in Chat GPT, and then it'll send me a message.
That would be awesome. I do also want to say, I want to get more into the spiritual side of it when we are on the next episode, probably, definitely when I come and see you in April. We definitely want to get more on the spiritual side, have people understand where they are when it comes to cannabis and spirituality and their mental health and wellness. But I definitely appreciate what you're doing. If you can hold on for a minute, can you hold on for a minute?
Yeah, for sure.
No worries. Okay, so I'll be right with you. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I have been having some great interviews so far. This is episode 4 of the second season. I want to give a big shout out to Kathleen Cortez of Kick for Cause. She will be having an event coming up in April 25th out in Long Island. I'll have all of that ready for you. She is a charity. It's going to be a charity kickball event. And we're focusing on getting prosthetics for children. They're very expensive. Kids that are disabled, they grow out of these prosthetics almost immediately, and getting new ones as they grow is very expensive. And she's developing a charity event to be able to gain funds, and you will be hearing a lot more about it in March and April. I also want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors. You know, I love you guys so much. You all have been amazing. That's Proteus 420, Green Spectrum CBD, Surfside, Jadestone Cannabis Branding. They're just my hearts. And so thank you guys so much. Also, Webod Distributors. So if you're looking for a distributor to help you get all of your supply, all of your products and services to the dispensaries, or just store them or whatever, Webod's there for you. And of course, Sohan from Silk Road. Thank you guys so much. I want to give you all a big shout out, give you much love, peace, and hey, this is Politics, the OG Social Network podcast. Remember to relax, relate, and release. You'll be hearing more about the event going on in Canada, the Canadian Cannabis Tourism Alliance. and their 420 summit that'll be going on April 19th and 20th. I will talk to you all soon. Peace and cannabis. Relax, relate, release, meditate. Take it easy. This is Papa Dukes.